not to be confused with the software company Hyperion Solutions. Hyperion Entertainment CVBA is a Belgian software company which in its early years focused in porting Windows games to Amiga OS, Linux and Mac OS. In 2001, they accepted a contract by Amiga Incorporated to develop Amiga OS 4 and mainly discontinued their porting business to pursue this development. Amiga OS 4 runs only on the Amiga 1 systems, Commodore Amiga systems with a Phase 5 power-up accelerator board, Pegasus 2 systems and SAM 440 systems. History. Hyperion Entertainment was founded in February 1999, in their own words, after Belgian lawyer Benjamin Hermans wondered why no one had ever tried to license PC games to do Amiga ports. Hyperion does not maintain programmer staff but subcontracts software programmers for projects as necessary. Hans-Georg Frieden, who had previously worked on ports of the games Descent and Abuse as well as the Warp 3D library, was contracted to be Hyperion's main developer. For the next few years, Hyperion would port several game titles to the Amiga and later Linux and the Macintosh, starting with Heretic 2. Game development. The port of Heretic 2 was generally well received by the Amiga press, but had weak sales. Following this, Hyperion set out to target a broader range of platforms, Amiga, Linux, and Mac OS. They also approached Monolith Productions to port their Lithe Tech engine, culminating in the port of Shogo Mobile Armada Division in 2001. The game had not sold as well as had been hoped, most notably on Linux, despite becoming a bestseller on Tux Games. Hyperion put some of the blame for weak sales on lack of publication by its then-publisher Titan Computer and also stated that Linux users were likely to dual boot with Windows to play easily available games rather than purchase more expensive specialized versions years after release. In any case, Hyperion then mainly discontinued licensing and porting games as it was not profitable as Hermans had claimed. A Linux port of Gorky 17 contracted by Hyperion to Stefan Hesse was published by Linux Game Publishing in 2006. They also marketed a commercial Amiga port of Quake 2, which was already available as source code under the new public license. Descent. Free Space, The Great War in 2010 was ported to Amiga OS 4 by Peter Gordon, around 10 years after it was ported to Amiga OS 3 by Hyperion Entertainment contractors. Amiga OS 4 Indiana, 2001, Hyperion announced that, after licensing the rights from Amiga, Inc., it would be working on the long-awaited successor to Amiga OS 3.9, and to this end concentrated most of its effort on the development of Amiga OS 4. Hyperion claimed and still claim that it is based upon Amiga OS 3.1 source code, and to a lesser extent certain Amiga OS 3.9 sources. A quick port of 68K Amiga OS to PowerPC was originally planned, with new features added as development continued. Ben Hermans, writing on Amiga Forum&.lu, claimed that these sources, along with the source of the PPC kernel Warpos, would be sufficient to provide a version to users within a year, making his now infamous "change some flags and recompile" comment. Amiga OS 4.0 was first released to end users and second-level beta testers in October 2004, with Amiga OS 4.1 following in September 2008. It is currently still in development. The first managing partner of Hyperion, Benjamin Hermans, in the period between announcement and release of Amiga OS 4, ignited a great deal of community controversy by repeatedly claiming that Morphis, an Amiga OS-like competitor, was illegal, and had on several occasions threatened to take legal action against it either on the grounds that it was parasitic competition to Amiga OS 4, or even that it was actually based on stolen Amiga OS source code. No evidence to support either claim ever became public, neither did any legal action against Morphis take place. although neither prevented such views being repeated commonly in public Amiga forums and mailing lists and even accepted as fact by some. This situation was inflamed by ex-Commodore engineer Dave Haynie, who backed up Herman's claims, though again without any evidence. The dispute did not enter the courts, but in the forums the argument was bitter. Herman's claimed that Bill Buck, leading the Genesis company funding Morphis, was a con artist. Everett Carton took over the managing partner position after Benjamin Herman stepped down in mid-2003, for unstated reasons. In 2007, Hyperion were sued by Amiga Incorporated for trademark infringement in the Washington Western District Court in Seattle, U.S. Amiga, Inc. sued Hyperion for breach of contract, trademark violation and copyright infringement concerning the development and marketing of Amiga OS 4.0. stating that Hyperion had continued to develop and market Amiga OS 4 without paying agreed royalties and had continued to do so even after warned to cease and desist. Hyperion launched a counter-action, claiming fraud in Amiga, Inc. handling of Amiga intellectual properties and debts, including the use of debt-holding shell companies, by shifting responsibility between these shell companies. They also claimed that Amiga, Inc. had failed to uphold their part of the contract and had been untruthful in correspondence, and that they had failed to deliver the Amiga OS 3.1 source that Amiga OS 4 was developed from, forcing Hyperion to find it elsewhere. In defiance of that ongoing legal dispute, in late September 2007 Hyperion published, distributed and marketed a standalone version of Amiga OS 4 for Classic Amiga, an action Amiga, Inc. claimed as illegal. On May 29, 2007, the new managing partner generated his own controversy by stating under oath that the open-source Amiga OS re-implementation RS was probably illegal, as documented on page 27 of court documents related to the Amiga Hyperion court case. Once again, no evidence was provided to back up this claim. On 30 September 2009, the U.S. courts forced Hyperion and Amiga, Inc. into settlement. However, the Amiga trademark remained with Amiga, Inc., and was then also sold to other parties, including Commodore USA and Icontain. This meant that Amiga-branded hardware could and would be sold without Amiga OS 4. On April 24, 2011, Everett Carton announced stepping down as the managing partner of Hyperion. Since the departure of Everett Carton, the current management of Hyperion was again Benjamin Herman's. Mr. Herman's was replaced after March 2015. Insolvency Declaration of 2015. On January 27, 2015, Hyperion Entertainment was declared insolvent. Then Herman's has claimed that this was an administrative mistake by a third party and that the company would appeal the insolvency decision. The declaration was overturned on 2 April 2015 and the company posted clarification on its website. Shortly after the insolvency was annulled, Benjamin Herman's was replaced as leading the company. Games. Hyperion's game ports include these: Heretic 2, Shogo, Mobile Armada Division, Gorky 17, Quake 2, Sin and Descent, Free Space, The Great War. On their official website, Hyperion also claimed to have acquired the license to port Worms Armageddon, but it was never released by Hyperion, as neither was an Amiga port of Sin they also claimed to have been working on.